Hey, Rob, just obviously make a blockbuster move like this. What is your balance of thinking long term with 25-year-old and then also just the short term, knowing that the deadline's coming up on Thursday, just balancing the long term vision with the short term?
We know that our roster has continued work to do to become complete. And just to be clear around the vision for our roster, we're going to build a roster that fits J.J. Redick's philosophy.
Now that right there is a good way to dance around that question. Because the real answer is we're going to build around Luka. But you heard what he said? Instead, we're going to build around J.J. Redick's philosophy.
Yeah.
Without even saying what the fuck is his philosophy. This is hilarious, man. The way these guys dance around the question. But watch right here as Rob Pelinka is, probably by accident going to admit that, they're really building around Luka. He's somewhat going to admit this right here, very subtly.
His basketball philosophy, that's something that we believe in, that we support, that we want to lean into. So in terms of roster decisions, JJ and I collaborate extensively around that and fitting how he wants to play. We know we have a need for a big. The market for bigs right now, leading into the last 2 or 3 days of the trade deadline, is very dry. There's just not a lot available. So maybe we'll be able to do some stuff around the margins. I would say in terms of a big move for that position, it's probably more realistic that would be something that comes in the offseason. But Luka will be at the center of that as we build for the long term. We want to format a team that fits JJ's coaching style and his strengths and his needs to help us win a championship with the other people that are also on our team right now who are going to be a big part of that winning as well. But your question was about long term, so I'm speaking more to long term.
See, he got to tread the water lightly because he got to confirm to Luka that this is his franchise. See, long term, and then he finally mentions Luka after dancing around the question for a good minute. It seems like right now they're kind of playing 50-50 with LeBron. They don't want to make it look too overt that they're pivoting and building this around Luka. But he sort of danced around it right here. But
I think they also kind of throw it to JJ Reddick to kind of figure it out too. Pressure on Reddick to figure it out.
True, but it's the obvious answer, man. They're building around Luka.
Yeah.
It's
a diplomatic answer.
Yes, it's very. But he danced around it. But he admitted it at the very end. He could have just said that in the beginning, but he admitted that at the very end. I mean, LeBron's 40, man. Like, nobody expects you to build around LeBron. Let's just keep it a buck. But right now, the Lakers are making so much money with him being in the franchise. That's the little nuanced dance that they're doing with LeBron right now. It's just like they're making a lot of money, but at the same time, it's not long term. It's like LeBron's 40. This shit ain't gonna work. It could break down at any moment. But again, Rob Pelinka was kind of asked about, sort of like what's their plans for the future. And he mentions LeBron this time around. Let's check it out.
Rob, good to see you. Along the same lines with the trade deadline and all of that, the window for Luka, 25 years old, coming off a finals appearance last year. LeBron, 22nd season, 40 years old. Like, what's the urgency level to have this team in the immediate future reach championship contender status, and whether that immediate future is between now and Thursday or the offseason going into next year? Just kind of what is the view in terms of the timeline to get this team to be able to contend?
The urgency is ever present. From the first day I started taking this job till I sit in the chair right now, there's always an urgency to win championships. That's what the Lakers set out to do. That's the expectations of our fans, and we're going to put in the work to constantly try to do it. At the same time, you have to be realistic, and if there's not a championship big on the market right now, I can't wave a wand and create that opportunity. We'll continue to work and look for areas that we can complete and fill out the roster. But as we saw with this trade, it takes two teams. But we'll continue to build. Luka and I spent some time yesterday up in my office just talking about the players on our roster he's played with and kind of what he sees as sort of short-term and long-term needs. And I think we'll continue to have those basketball discussions and get this roster to a championship level.
AKA, man, with LeBron is going to be a 1 to 2 year, kind of thing, man. They're not going to build a championship team in 2 years.
No.
They're definitely not. The media guy was trying to, kind of get around that. He's trying to see if they're going to quickly try to build something so LeBron could compete with them. But he's not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, it seems impossible.
Yeah, it's not really possible. Even with the guy they recently traded for, what's his name?
Mark
center.
Williams.
Yeah, that seems like a project.
Right, it's a project, and it's a very questionable project in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the NBA is slowly moving the trade deadline to almost, they keep pushing it up and up, and this year it seems like, with the NFL kind of creeping up into their real estate with Christmas, do you think they did that on purpose to creep up on the NFL's real estate during their Super Bowl coverage? Because this is weeks like this is where the NBA gets swallowed up by everything Super Bowl, but this year it's like the opposite happened.
They did the All-Star reveal and they did this, right? So clearly they're trying to dominate as much as media time as possible, because now you have McAfee, now you have this page. They're giving Shams the platform to really talk about basketball now.
Yeah, but this is not by accident.
No,
Moving
the
the trade
NBA by
deadline
design.
up to Super Bowl week, Super Bowl media week. 'Cause remember, there's an off week by the NFL. The Super Bowl is 2 weeks from the conference championship games. So the NFL was off last week, and then this week is their media week. But their media week, it happens to be when the NBA has their trade deadline. This is not an accident. This is not.
Because everyone's talking Luka now. Everyone's talking Luka.
Of course,
Everyone.
bro. Most people forgot that the Super Bowl was on Sunday. That's how lit the NBA was this week.
Well, I think De'Aaron Fox is probably more talked about than.
It's not even there. Just the Luka. The Luka thing alone.
Luka itself, but I'm also talking even the outside, outside of Luka, they were pretty much talked about.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
outside Luka, you're right.
But obviously Luka is the biggest star, so he's going to be talked about.
Did you ever imagine that the NBA could take over the headlines in an NFL Super Bowl week? That's crazy. Nobody saw that coming. And it's because Adam. This is good for Adam Silver because the NBA has taken a lot of PR hits over the past few months. Low ratings,
especially with the low ratings. Yep.
Yeah, too much 3-point shooting,
lack of competitiveness.
And then this week kind of dispelled all that because look at all the interest. Look at all the interest.
Christmas games should get a lot of love. The NBA beat the NFL in Christmas Day.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked.
I'm not talking ratings. I'm talking product as a product.
It did, man. But look how this is good. This is a win for Silver this week because it shows you how in tune people are really with the league.
It showed you how you can attract a casual base.
I think the Super Bowl has Kendrick Lamar performing. You have to understand what's going on. The Super Bowl is the done data of it all. And this is their media week. They got Kendrick Lamar in a rap beef with Drake performing at the Super Bowl, and the NBA took over all that with media coverage. Nobody saw that coming.
The NBA also took away WWE's hype were coming off the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. They're able to take away from a lot of sports entities' hype.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They took away all that stuff. But also it shows the NBA can really build a future league without their LeBron James and these golden gooses. Now you're getting a new golden goose that people are really crazy about. Because Luka, bro, I've had casual, people who don't watch basketball,
exactly. That's when you know it hits. That's when you know it hits.
One of my coworkers, she's like, I was listening to a podcast of all girls podcast or a TikTok. I don't know what she was watching, but she's like, oh, they explain it in girly terms, and this trade makes so much sense. I'm like, okay, yeah. So basketball is transcending where people are using other leagues. My friend was like, this is trading Mbappe for Neymar. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great example. And that's how people are contextualizing it. So the NBA has something to build on. I think obviously the Christmas games was a success, which is a plus for the NBA. And you look at this trade deadline with Luka kind of being the main topic. Because I'm not gonna lie, like the fact we didn't even see Kevin Durant or Steph
Mhm.
Curry moved, and the fact is like guys like Luka Doncic, obviously Anthony Davis being a big talk, but
But wait,
along
hold on.
with kind of the
Wait,
other
hold
trades
on.
that went on.
Just real quick. I wanted to go to your initial point when you brought up that Neymar, that casual fan from another sport. You see, this week, that's when the NFL does that. It grabs
Yeah,
the casuals, the girls that normally listen to the girl podcast. Now this week they're doing Super Bowl, Sunday fun day for their boyfriends. They're inviting people over. They didn't even watch the game.
yeah,
This is the Super Bowl effect. Like the NFL has that much power that they're getting the casuals. Now the NBA in that same very week is getting those same casuals to talk about their product. That's how you
bro. They
know
still,
this trade has hit. It has hit the fucking stratosphere, man. It's gone. It's out
it's
of
pop
here.
culture. This
Yeah.
trade be pop culture. Like I think even Beyonce's Grammys, I don't think it was talked as much as this trade.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Even swallowed up the Grammys. You're right.
Yeah, it swallowed up WWE, and this is like their marquee season, WrestleMania. It swallowed up the NFL with their Super Bowl, and it swallowed up the Grammys with Beyonce winning and Kendrick Lamar winning a shit ton of awards for his this song.
Yeah, bro, it's this is crazy, man. Like
This is a good
nobody
hype
saw
train.
this coming for the NBA. This was not even the talk a couple of weeks ago. All the talk was too much 3-point shooting. You had Adam Silver going through a press conference trying to defend the league. We're thinking about adding this rule, shortening the time for the quarters. All blah blah blah. It's almost like the league was on the defense. They were on the defense, and in 1 week, this shit turned around. And I wouldn't be
Yes.
shocked if someone made a phone call and made this Luka trade happen. If a call from upstairs was like, "Yo, Luka got to go to LA. We got to make noise." Like this shit
Yeah.
is really hitting. It's really hitting.
Basketball is an individual sport, right? So if you're kind of like, if you're Adam Silver, you market individuals because me and my friend we had this conversation a few weeks ago where he was talking about like, oh, the NBA should market teams. I'm like, bro, when you look at football, everyone has their different role. The offense and defense have their different role. In basketball, sure, like you know when we watch basketball, we know the different roles, whatever, right? But for a casual audience, the main goal is scoring. It's just what it is, right? So I'm like, bro, if you're a basketball, if you're an NBA, if you're NBA marketing, if you're basketball marketing, you're better off marketing individual players. And this trade deadline was a marketing of individual players, like Luka going to LA and De'Aaron Fox playing with Victor Wembanyama, Jimmy Butler teaming up with Steph Curry. These are individual players being marketed to the worldwide sports, to the worldwide. It's Oh, look, your player is teaming up with one of the most an all stars, teaming up with one of the upcoming players, or like I said, Jimmy Butler teaming up with a guy who's won multiple championships. Maybe he could win one. And it's all narratives. Luka Doncic being the new face of the Lakers is all narrative.
Mm-hmm.
What are the Dallas Mavericks doing with Anthony Davis? Can he win one with Kyrie as a 1A, 1B? Tyler Hero's new team with Andrew Wiggins being a co-star. So it's a lot of interesting narratives we're seeing in basketball, and the trade deadline kind of dominated that. And props to the NBA in that regard. I think the league's headed to a decent direction. I think I think Adam Silver probably entertained the idea. I don't think he's an idiot who's gonna fully implement it about the 10-minute quarters or whatever. But the NBA, they're kind of like stuck in this middle ground, and I think this gives them a good direction, a good feel of where they could be in the where they could be in pop culture and their relevancy in sports. Because NBA is always going to be remaining relevant,
Yeah,
but they're always
for
going to look
sure.
to compete with like MLB. Like the MLB the MLB has a resurgence. The NBA is always going to be up and down. It just all sports, everything. It's always going to be up and down. But you're always going to have that core supporters.
Yeah,
And you're always going to have people caring enough to like react to
but
big
again,
trades and big deals.
you got to attract the casuals.
Yeah,
You got to
always,
attract the
always.
casuals, man. I'm telling you, the week that the NFL has mastered that, they have mastered catching the casuals. That people who don't even understand football right now are having a Super Bowl party. They
Because
don't even understand football.
they want to watch the commercials. They want to watch Kendrick Lamar perform. They want to watch whatever, right? Whatever gets them going. And I think that's what the NFL has done a good job on. And the NBA is kind of figuring out. Like, bro, it takes. Let's be honest. It takes one major event for your sport to get mainstream. You know, you look at MLB's resurgency. It was a Japanese player in LA Dodgers. He was able to make baseball mainstream again because it's like the idea of this guy could be greater than Babe Ruth. This guy could be the greatest baseball player of all
Correct.
time.
Yeah.
Now people want to watch him play for
He
the
made
Dodgers.
it more
Correct?
national.
Yeah, and baseball's more popular than ever now. And then you look at UFC, Khabib and McGregor. All these guys want to fucking kill each other. These guys despise each other, and they were able to market that to become mainstream. You look at boxing. Obviously, you just look at his history: Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, George Fraser. I don't even gotta go all that deep, but you know the idea. Basketball has its moments too with Larry and Mike, Kobe, Shaq, whatever. So it's always gonna be that one moment that just kind of flips it around for any league. And this could be it for the NBA, to be honest with you, if Luka were to be the greatest, one of the greatest Laker of all time, you know?
Yeah, this is huge, man. I felt like the league really. I'm looking at it now, like the league really needed this. I'm just looking at the effect. Just looking at the effect, man. I'm telling you, man. It's the Super Bowl weekend. I mean, this is Super Bowl media week, and the NBA took it over. Had you told somebody this 2 weeks ago, they would tell you you must have lost your mind.
Yeah, like bro, I think the day of the Super Bowl, people are gonna find. Obviously, the Super Bowl's gonna have crazy ratings, but
No, the
the
Super Bowl,
whole
of
week
course, the
phenomenon.
day of, but the
Yeah.
NFL never thought during their media week of the Super Bowl that the NBA would take over all the headlines. Like that's all the fans are talking about.
Yeah, no, the sports world is crazy right now. I think even these broadcasters, right? They're all dedicating their time to break down trades.
Yeah, but you know what? Right now, I'm telling you, there's a battle going on. Roger Goodell. He laid out his chess piece on Christmas. I'm telling you, Adam Silver. People didn't peep it. Adam Silver,
Yeah.
because we never seen the trade deadline really, like this before the All-Star. It's been steadily happening the past few years, but now it's not a coincidence. The trade deadline is Thursday, right before the Super Bowl. That was a checkmate back.
We're looking at a lot of content being available. That's just what it is, especially in sports world. Like
Yeah, but hold on,
there's a lot.
but you're not peeping the real estate, like the NFL.
Yeah, of course.
The NFL over the summer, they've slowly, kind of they slowly crept up to the NBA's real estate of free agency. The NFL has crept up on that, and I'm telling you, these two leagues are battling right now. And now the NFL crept up on the NBA Christmas, so it's like the NBA is sort of fighting back. Okay, trade deadline Thursday, right before the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
That's tough.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's tough for the NFL to kind of fight that. It's like, whoa,
And
the NFL knows the NBA is young and the NBA is on social media. That's almost like the California fires, man. All that dry wood laying around, it's a matter of time. One of those things catch on fire, the whole shit cooked. Like that's NBA news on social media. Once it catches fire, it's going viral.
And like I said, the previous week you just had your All-Star release. So the NBA within that 2 weeks took full on advantage of the news cycle, whether it's All-Star announcement or it's this trade deadline announcements.
Yeah, man. Whew.
They milked it out. And that's just how it's going to be from now on. I think every sport's going to try to milk out their moment to top each other. They're all in competition with each other.
Yeah, it's been like this for a couple years now.
It's good for the fans too. Like I said, bro, baseball has found a resurgency because of this like Japanese player, right? And then hopefully we see. I think we're gonna see in the NBA real soon. I think the ratings thing is an over exaggeration. It's a transition, but transitions.
It is a transition, but
smoothly.
the league is still currently transition. Look at the NBA draft now. It's 2 days. It's 2 days now. Like they're slowly. The NBA low key has been building different real estates. One real estate is the draft now being 2 days. Another real estate, I'm not sure if you've been noticing, is the Vegas Summer League. You could tell they're pumping money into that. They're trying to make it a bigger event. Vegas Summer League now seems like its own event.
Yeah,
It's like a
because in the
thing.
summertime you also got Ice Cube's league trying to take in ratings too.
No. It has nothing to do with that. I think it's really we're talking about the Titans here. The NFL and the NBA have been encroaching on each other's real estate, and it hasn't been more apparent than this year. Christmas and the trade deadline being right before the Super Bowl. It's
Yeah.
very apparent. This is not done by accident. None of this is done by accident. I think there was a time period where this was sort of like a little dance between both leagues, a little understanding. They didn't overtly say it. Oh, okay, NBA, we're not gonna, be in your Christmas, even though we're the number one sports product. And then the NBA kind of stayed away from certain NFL dates, from the combine to the draft. But now it seems like things have gotten muddied. Things have gotten fucking muddied, man. And both these leagues are encroaching on each other's real estate. That's a real thing. That is a real fucking thing. I'm telling you, man, this is shocking, man. They're probably gonna do, like, I want to say they're gonna do a doc on like what went down this week, but this is crazy, bro. This is legendary. You got
This is
Kendrick
awesome.
Lamar. You got Kendrick Lamar in the Super Bowl and the crazy rap beef. You got the Grammys, Super Bowl weekend, a great rematch between Eagles and the Chiefs. I can understand if two shitty teams were in the Super Bowl that no one knew. But you got Patrick Mahomes getting a rematch against the Eagles. The Eagles want their get back. And the NBA still took over all that shit.
And like I said, you got WWE happening an hour before.
Yeah.
So they're trying to be the narrative dominated, like kind of like it's our night as a WWE. They looked at it like, oh, the NFL is gone, and so like we'll have we'll be the talked about thing in town, which they were for like 30 minutes until the Luka thing went, and like nobody cared about WWE and their Royal Rumble anymore.
Yeah.
So all entertainment had to take a back step, whether you're WWE, Grammys, NFL, they all had to take a back step into like, oh shit. Like Luka's here, like even like Beyonce, the biggest pop star who people cried about like not getting a Grammy, not want a Grammy, and people talked about it for 30 minutes and went back to Luka.